What happens when a family joke goes too far and no one laughs but you? Welcome to a place where celebration turns into confrontation, where loyalty is tested, and where the people who claim to love you most may be hiding the darkest secrets. Tonight's story begins at a family party filled with music, smiles, and forced laughter, but ends with bruises that expose betrayal, silence that reveals hidden alliances, and a marriage shaken by truths no one was supposed to uncover. In this gripping journey of resilience and revenge, every careless word, every suspicious glance, and every cruel joke unravels manipulation buried beneath years of denial. When a child becomes the unexpected catalyst, long protected secrets about a husband's loyalty rise into the light. If you crave powerful relationship dramas packed with raw emotion, shocking twists, and unforgettable family conflict, you're in the right place. The music was loud, the drinks were flowing, and laughter echoed through the backyard as family gathered under strings of golden lights. It was supposed to be one of those perfect nights, the kind captured in smiling photos and posted with captions about love and togetherness. Then a small hand tugged at a sleeve. A son stood there, lower lip trembling, a dark bruise blooming across his cheek. The world narrowed. Before questions could fully form, a sister waved it off with a careless laugh. "Relax, it's just a joke. The boys were playing too rough." Too rough? The words didn't match the fear in those young eyes. Across the patio, a husband didn't rush over, didn't demand answers, didn't even look surprised. Instead, there was a look exchanged, quick, subtle, between him and his sister, a look that carried history, a look that didn't belong in a moment like that. Something shifted. For years, there had been small things, whispered conversations that stopped when entering a room, decisions made for the good of the family without consultation, money moved from joint savings with vague explanations about helping his sister through hard times, always loyalty to her first, always defense, always excuses. And now, a child's bruised face was being dismissed as humor. When kneeling down to gently ask what happened, the story came out in fragments. Cousins dared him to do something humiliating. When he refused, someone pushed him, hard. The adults nearby laughed, including his father, including him. The air felt poisoned. Later that night, after guests left and silence filled the house, the confrontation came. Calm questions were met with irritation. "You're overreacting. It was nothing. Stop trying to start drama with my family." Not our family, my family. That was the truth that finally landed. Phone records discovered weeks later confirmed what instinct already knew. Secret transfers, messages deleted but not well enough, plans discussed behind closed doors. His sister had been influencing more than finances. She had been shaping decisions about parenting, about discipline, about everything. And he had allowed it, encouraged it. The bruise faded from a child's face in days. The bruise on trust never would. Papers were filed quietly, accounts separated carefully, and at the next family gathering, there was one empty seat that no one dared call a joke. The grill was smoking, kids were splashing in the pool, and someone had just made a toast about how lucky this family was to always stick together. Laughter followed, loud and careless. Then came another burst of giggles from the patio table, where his sister leaned back in her chair and said, "Oh, please, it was hilarious. You should have seen his face." A son's face. The comment was tossed into the air like harmless gossip, but the tension underneath it was sharp enough to cut. When asking what she meant, she rolled her eyes and explained how the cousins had locked him in the pantry for a prank. 10 minutes in the dark. "It's just how we joke around," she added, nudging her brother with a grin. He didn't laugh. He didn't defend either. He just stood there, staring into his drink like the ice cubes held the answer. That silence said more than words ever could. For years, humor had been the shield in this family. Backhanded compliments disguised as teasing, exclusion reframed as tradition. Every boundary crossed followed by the same script. Don't be so sensitive. And every time, he chose quiet over confrontation. His loyalty had never been a secret, it just hadn't been acknowledged out loud. Later that evening, while cleaning up plates no one else bothered to touch, a phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. His phone. A message preview lit up the screen before it went dark. She's starting to notice. Handle it. From his sister. Starting to notice what? Sleep didn't come easily that night. Curiosity turned into quiet investigation. Bank statements revealed payments labeled as consulting transferred monthly to his sister's account. Emails uncovered plans to invest in property without discussion. And deeper still, messages painting a picture that felt like betrayal layered upon betrayal. She doesn't need to know everything. I'll keep her calm. It's easier if she thinks it's her idea. Years of partnership had apparently been a performance. The pantry prank wasn't random. It was a lesson, a demonstration of hierarchy, of who truly held influence. A child had been humiliated for entertainment, and a husband had stood by to protect the wrong side. The next gathering was different. The same backyard, the same string lights. But this time, when a toast was made about loyalty, a folder slid across the table. Instead, bank records, printed messages, undeniable proof. No shouting, no tears. Just truth, laid bare in front of the audience he valued most. Some jokes stop being funny when the punchline fights back. Everyone said it was just how this family bonded, through sarcasm, dares, and jokes that went a little too far. At first, it seemed harmless. An eye roll here, a comment about being too sensitive there. But over time, the laughter started to sound like something else, sharper, targeted. It began with small humiliations. A story shared at dinner about a private disagreement twisted into entertainment. A joke about not being able to handle this family's sense of humor. Each time his sister delivered the punchline, and each time he let it land. Relax, he would say later. She doesn't mean anything by it. But she always meant something. At the last family barbecue, the pattern escalated. A son was dared to repeat something embarrassing about his own mother in front of everyone. When he refused, the teasing turned aggressive. Laughter rose as pressure mounted, and there he stood, arms crossed, watching, not stopping it. When stepping in, his sister clapped mockingly. See, this is why he needs toughening up. You're raising him soft. The sting wasn't just in her words. It was in his silence, in the way he avoided eye contact, choosing comfort over courage. That night, denial came quickly. You're imagining things. It's not that serious. Why do you always make it about you? Always. The word echoed, as if asking for respect was selfish, as if protecting a child from humiliation was dramatic. Weeks later, truth slipped out in fragments. A late-night conversation overheard through a cracked office door. His sister's voice on speakerphone, calm and calculating. You can't let her control the house. If you give in once, you'll lose authority. Authority. That's what this was about. Bank statements revealed financial decisions made without consent. A joint savings account quietly drained to fund his sister's business. Emails showed discussions about moving closer to her, without consultation. Every major choice had been filtered through her influence. Marriage hadn't been a partnership. It had been a tug of war, and the rope had always been handed to someone else. The cruel jokes weren't random. They were strategy. Undermine confidence, isolate, discredit, make resistance look irrational. The final confrontation didn't explode. It unfolded, calmly, methodically. Evidence placed on the table, questions asked without raising a voice. His denial cracked under documentation. For the first time, he had nothing to hide behind. Blood ties may run deep, but loyalty misplaced can drown a marriage just as fast. The bruise was dark purple, spreading across a small cheek like spilled ink. It didn't match the balloons tied to the fence or the laughter floating through the yard. It didn't match the way his sister clinked her glass and called it a harmless scuffle. It builds character, she said with a shrug. Character. The child's trembling hands told a different story. So did the hesitation before speaking. The cousins had cornered him inside the garage. A shove, a fall, laughter. Adults nearby, watching. And right there among them stood a husband who didn't step in, who didn't kneel down, who didn't raise his voice in defense. Instead, there was that familiar tight smile, the one used whenever choosing his family over his own household. Later, inside the quiet of the bedroom, excuses came easily. You're overreacting. They're just kids. My sister would never let it go too far. But she had, and so had he. The bruise became impossible to ignore, not just on skin, but in memory. It reopened every moment brushed aside in the past, holidays where inside jokes excluded, financial decisions justified as helping family, whispered conversations cut short when entering a room. Curiosity turned into certainty one sleepless night. His phone lit up with a message he didn't expect anyone else to see. She needs to stop questioning things. We agreed how this works. Agreed. Scrolling further revealed transfers. Thousands of dollars moved into her sister's account over the past year, investments made in her name, plans drafted about selling the house and relocating closer to her. Conversations about parenting strategies, discipline, even schooling, all shaped by her input. A marriage that felt shared had been quietly managed behind the scenes. The bruise was never an accident. It was a symbol, a reminder of hierarchy, of who held influence, of whose voice mattered more. Resilience doesn't always roar. Sometimes it gathers evidence, copies statements, takes screenshots, waits for the right moment. That moment came at the next family gathering. The same yard, the same forced laughter, but this time, when his sister made another joke about toughening up, a folder landed on the patio table instead. Bank records, printed messages, proof of alliances built on secrecy. Silence swallowed the party whole. Loyalty had always been his excuse. Truth became the reckoning. If this story left you questioning loyalty, family bonds, and the cost of silence, you're not alone. Sometimes the deepest betrayals come wrapped in laughter, and sometimes the strongest revenge is simply exposing the truth. For more intense family dramas, shocking relationship twists, and stories that reveal what's really hiding behind closed doors, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you never miss a story where secrets surface, masks fall, and justice finally speaks. Because in this space, the truth always finds its voice.